All right, guys, so this is going to be my experience with this Galaxy Z Fold 4. And it has been a pretty good experience, but it has not been great. And I know in another video, I asked the question, did Samsung do enough with this year's Fold 4? So I know I got a few responses there. Most people said no. And at this stage, I would agree if you're coming from a Z Fold 3. This is definitely not enough of an upgrade, in my opinion, to jump to this device. Now, we'll talk about pros and cons to this device, but I always love starting out with the build quality, which is excellent, just like it was on the Fold 3, especially for what it is. So they extended the cover display here, made it just a tad bit wider. In my opinion, it's still too narrow for me to really enjoy it. And I definitely gave it a shot over the last few days trying to use it more. And it's just not, in my opinion, it's not really a great experience. If you just need to do something quickly, yes, I can see how convenient it would be, but it's just not something that I would find myself going back to really utilizing. So definitely the point of getting a device like this is to get the larger canvas, which I agree that Samsung does a better job than pretty much any other company right now with the foldables of trying to take advantage of this display by giving you the S Pen input. So if you're into inking, this is a great option and probably your only option if you want to have a folding device. So build quality is great on here. I do want to see them kind of get rid of this crease or make it less visible for more iterations of this device. But outside of that, I love the screen. I love the color saturation that they use. The colors just pop. So this thing is definitely beautiful. Now, speakers to me was not a big improvement from the Fold 3, but the speakers on the Fold 3 were good. So these are good as well. So I don't think you guys would be disappointed with the sound quality of this device. So that's good. The cameras are pretty good. Like I always say, I don't do a whole lot of testing of the cameras because there are too many people doing that right now, and I'm not really big into photography. So, but I don't think that's a big enough upgrade for you to want to jump from the Fold 3 to the Fold 4 just because of the 50 megapixel sensor that they added onto this device. So again, I'm going to say if they had made it more of a S22 Ultra as far as their cameras, then maybe that would be a reason to upgrade. But for now, I would say no, that's not a big enough reason. Still no dust resistance, but it is water resistant, which is good. So especially if this thing is your daily driver, which it is not for me, but I know for probably the majority of people, it would be their daily driver, which you can definitely get away with doing that with this phone because it does have water resistance. So most foldables do not have water resistance. This one definitely does, so that's another plus. So the big thing about this device is the multitasking and the addition of the taskbar to kind of help you with getting better and making multitasking easier. I will say this is one of the better devices to do multitasking because you get so many different options, the way you can manipulate your screen and the app layout. You can have it vertical, you can have it horizontal, and I don't see any competition as far as that goes right now. But it does make me bring up a question that what is multitasking to you? What does it really mean to you as the end user? When I think multitasking, I'm usually thinking about 2 apps at a time. And if that is also your definition, then you may want to even consider the Surface Duo, which I think doing 2 things at once, it is the best at. Now, you can do floating windows on here. You can do 3 apps at the same time. I just don't know of anyone that actually does that and utilizes that effectively. If you are one of those people, I'd love to hear your use cases in the comments below. I just feel like you run out of screen real estate if you're doing more than 2 apps at a time. So if you're really buying this for multitasking, I'd love to know what or how you're using this phone that you feel is going to be better than just getting a Surface Duo at that point. Because for me, this canvas, even though it's larger than most candy bar phones at 7.6 inches, is still pretty small if you're doing more than two things at once. Now, I could see maybe if you're comparing things like two different browsers and then you have to text message with somebody, so bringing up that third app as your messaging app, I can see that. But outside of that, I'm really curious as to how you would utilize it. So, battery life. I didn't see much of a difference between the Fold 3 and the Z Fold 4. So that's just been my experience. They did not really improve the battery life. And I really feel like at this stage in the game, Samsung has to do one of two things or both. So give us a larger battery or give us faster charging or give us both. But, not really giving us a larger battery and not even including a charger, let's also bring that up, then that's a missed opportunity in my opinion. So hopefully going forward, they take heed to that and they see the competition is really including fast chargers and making it so that your phone can charge up a lot faster. So an hour plus, it seems like an eternity now for these types of phones. So overall, I will say it's just a great performing device. It pretty much runs anything that you throw at it, whether it's different apps, productivity, and gaming. Had no issues, no hiccups, no lag. So it's just an overall solid performer. But it just feels like we are at a point where innovation is kind of stopped. So hopefully Samsung can regain traction for next year and really bring something new to the table. So I guess you can look at that two different ways. So for those that have already spent money on the Fold 2 and the Fold 3, you can kind of rejoice in the fact that you're really not missing out this year. But for those that were really waiting on something really innovative and exciting, I would say this is kind of disappointing because what you're really getting is just a more polished Fold 3. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments and let's have a discussion there. So until the next one, peace.